Oppenheim, senior faceoff man for Albany right off the bat. The Great Danes had it momentarily, and Oppenheim digs it out. The senior out of Mount Sinai, New York, gets depossessed. Players falling in the middle of the field, some contact, whistle stops play. It is a violation against North Carolina. Albany will have possession. Warm down here in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, Albany just letting the ball work around, find the right matchup. It'll be interesting to see where and when Silas Richmond asserts himself.
Number 2 in his shots, giving up just under 10 goals a game. 2 turnovers in 20 seconds for UAlbany. Gives the ball to Carolina. Harshbarger, his shot. Smith gets there, makes the save. The lefty.
Field to a good spot, put it on Cage. He made a very athletic save.
Silas Richmond goes into the middle of the field, has it in his stick. Shot. Kent Good makes the save. It's on the goal line. Cole Aschheim gets there to all freshman midfield line for the Tar Heels. Checking in, Brevin Wilson operating against Brady Quill. Feed inside, Dominic Petramala finds the back of the net. Wilson to Petramala. North Carolina is off the deck. You mentioned how important it was to get Good the save, and he's the one that allows Carolina to get the first goal of the game.
Yeah, without question. He makes a nice save, really good effort in the clear, and then an excellent look and finish by Petramala.
Dom Petramala, the honorable mention All-American in 2025, his 44th tally of the season. And there you see him. Anthony Rayo finds the back of the net. The talented freshman out of Dix Hills, New York. His 14th tally of the season. Carolina up 2-0.
Very nice play here. They fall, Albany falls down, a little bit of bad luck there, and then Merrill rolls back and hammers that shot.
With it, the Tar Heels have numbers. Toman winds up and finds the back of the net. Peter Toman reared back from the tower and is able to beat Smith 3-0 North Carolina.
Yeah, great play. Albany got a little unbalanced off the face-off, came down, and those shots from long sticks are a lot harder to save for those goalies. They're just coming from a different angle. He never really picked it up, and the ball went in stick side.
Toman missed last season with a knee injury for this North Carolina team. He has just tallied his 3rd goal of the season. Brendan Bernard, number 6 in purple, gets it behind the Kessering. Feed up top, shot. Good is there. 3rd save for Kent Good. Puts it out to Salucci, who gooses it over.
At the end of the clear, before offense really starts, sub games, early offense, things like that. So that's something to keep an eye on.
UAlbany has switched to a zone defense to try to combat this Carolina offensive team. We've seen several teams do this to the Tar Heels in 2026. How do they handle? Rayo gets it to down Petramala. That's one way to solve a zone. Dial it up long distance from perhaps the best stretch shooter in college lacrosse.
Yeah, great recognition. We talked to Coach Bresci about this in terms of being able to recognize when Albany goes from man to zone and back. Great recognition, great execution, great shot by Petramala.
Dom Petramala and the North Carolina offense, they are humming early. They have shot 4 out of 6 so far. 4-0 Carolina.
And same thing happened on that one, so.
Rayo just punishes a corner. Gets to the center of the field and shoots a dart into the upper 90. The Tar Heels are rolling heavy.
Individual effort there, beats his man clean, shoots a textbook shot to the offside stick, and just hammers that.
Carolina now has hit their last 4 shots, and they're shooting 5.
Nice.
Silas Richmond, 15 in purple, gets the ball behind. This is Brennan O'Keefe. We were told by Scott Marr, number 8 in purple, could run in the midfield somewhat today. Feels like he could take advantage of short stick matchups that the Tar Heels present. Cole Aschheim 26 in white, hawking presence, hounding Silas Richmond, who whistles one wide.
Yeah, Silas doesn't spend a whole lot of time on this side of the field as a right-handed dominant player, but a nice drive to the 5-and-5 and rollback.
Gets right off of the whistle, and the goal is scored by Alex Pfeiffer, the senior out of Lake Grove, New York. Whistle ready, sprint to the cage, gets Albany, the Great Danes of UAlbany, on the board.
He just picks the ball up off the end line, runs by his guy, and Carolina tried to fake slide and get back, and he just didn't bite on the fake and kept coming and stuck it.
Pfeiffer, one of those two-way middies to review, so a power play for up to 2 minutes for the UAlbany Great Danes. Nice skip pass. Silas Richmond, it looked like it was tipped from Toman. He hunts it down, gets it over to Good. Brevin Wilson going to the cage, gets inside and scores. And the goal is good. Wilson, the sophomore out of Concord, North Carolina, is able to beat the Great Dane double, tiptoes the crease, and bounces North Carolina's 6-goal home.
Yeah, I think he kind of lulled him to sleep. I don't think the defenders thought he was going to go to cage like.
Coordinator Dave Petramala. Ben Wimmer comes down to the left. Shot saved by Good. Sucks it up again, his 5th save of the contest. Albany now shooting 1 for 10. Haggerup clears it. It's Brevin Wilson now settling things down.
Yeah, not a great shot.
Mason Suchek into the contest for Carolina.
Yeah, not a great shot by Albany. There's still plenty of time left on the shot clock. They need to get the ball to better spots in the field, to the better shooters, and start to put the ball in the back of the net.
James Matton, one of the senior captains, finds inside. Suchek just whistles it over the crossbar. Possession stays with Carolina with just over 12 seconds left in the first quarter. Wilson going to cage, head up. Draws a double of purple jerseys, 5 seconds. Feed in front, Petramala shot. It just has enough juice to get over the goal line. Smith looked like he got a piece of it with his foot, but it trickles in, and Carolina, with only 1.9 seconds left in the first quarter, go up 7-1.
Good look by Wilson here. You know, great cut by Petramala. I'm not sure that Albany need to slide to that first one, and you certainly don't want to be trailing Dom
And he dropping into that zone. Big number 77 in purple at the top of it. Jacob Smith, long stick midi out of Milford, Ohio. First team All-Conference America East. He's listed as 6 foot, but he looks a lot bigger than 6 foot.
Yeah, I agree. He's dynamic. He's disruptive. You know,
got to get on number 77 though, and you can see Smith having a conversation with Luke Grove. Somebody missed an assignment there, and when you leave 77 with that much time and space, that's typically going to be a turn and rake.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they discussed in the huddle, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't on the list. Don't play 77 is not what you're looking to do.
Dom Petramala has 4 games of 5+ goals. The last coming against Syracuse on this field on April 4th. He is 1 away from that. Lower body injury. Wambach staying on to play a little bit of offense. Matt Reedy, 37 in white, on the field now with Macaluso and Petramala on the attack. Mason Suchek, talented sophomore out of Naperville, Illinois, over to Harsh Barger, 11 in white. James Matton, number 7, going up against the defense of James Reed, 24 in purple. Pass over to Suchek. Gets that left hand free. Pass over to Matton, the one more behind the cage. Carolina, some crisp ball movement.
And they're doing, I think what Albany isn't doing is they're passing up good shots to try to get a great shot, and they're using the shot clock. Very impressive offense here. I would think they're going to generate a good shot here coming soon.
Wheeling and dealing, Mason Suchek does just that. The whirling dervish into low to high rocket solves Brady Smith once again. It's 9-1.
Great offensive possession there by Carolina, and the end of it was just a strong individual effort, but I think it was set up by how selfless and flowing the offense was for the 45 or 50 seconds before that. Pretty shot.
Many teams have zoned Carolina, the nightcap, Richmond and Duke from Robbins Stadium. We will break it all down at halftime. Don Petramala, hesitation move, lets it go again, and he ties the all-time goal record here at the University of North Carolina.
Pretty play here. Little hesitation, hitch move, then stuck it to the far pipe.
Scott Marr calls a timeout to try to settle his team down. And Coach Marr not happy with some
ball and step to it.
UAlbany back in man-to-man. Defense being applied by 26 in purple, Dalton Kane. Interesting story, he's a freshman out of Quebec, but he's a 21-year-old freshman. He had a number 5 in purple, a dog. Said he's got the potential to be one of the best I've ever had. He's had a terrific freshman season.
Yeah, here he is, doing a good job covering the starting attackman for Carolina.
Macaluso, shot clock in single digits, 5 seconds now. Ground ball picked up. Brady Quill wheels it out of pressure.
And look for a high quality shot.
Don Petramala whistles it wide. Backed up by the Tar Heels. 63 seconds. Carolina's has had a ton of quality shots. And Scott Marr told us this week, we've got to limit the tough shots that Brady Smith faces, and that really hasn't been the case. Feed inside. Luke Bear cocks it back, gets it out top. UAlbany now back to even strength. Shot to flex, run out by the Tar Heels. Possession stays with White.
Yeah, another nice save by Smith right there. I think they'll be patient here, look for something good. And it's interesting, without Duffy, they were a attack-dominated team in terms of where they were initiating. Now they're starting out more in the midfield and get the ball down to the attack after that.
Don Petramala just drags from that left alley above goal line extended and sticks it for now a school record. 129th career goal, the most in North Carolina Tar Heel men's lacrosse history.
Great possession there by Carolina. Midfielders got him loosened up, threw the ball down to Petramala. Great screen by Harshberger, and a goal.
Andrew Price, number 18 in white. Brock Geraci, number 50 in white, who just lost the ball. And 25 is Tayden Boltman. Neeson, such a terrific defenseman.
Didn't really get much of a look at the cage because of his individual effort on defense.
Luke Bear skips it over to Merrill. Feed in the middle, the shot rings off the crossbar. Goes right into the stick of Gary Merrill. That was Luke Bear with a rocket.
Good clear. They seem to be in control here with just under 2 minutes left in the half.
Harshbarger uses the pick set by Petramala, who gets it back, and the worm burner whistles wide. Ben Coghill, 10 in purple, getting a run on short stick D mid for the UAlbany Great Danes. Feed in front, it's Petramala, kisses the lower corner. 7 goals for double number 7 Dom Petramala. He has had an incredible first half.
Yeah, there's a lot of things he's good at, and I think one of the more underappreciated elements of his game is the timing of his cuts. Neeson kind of falls asleep a little bit, and then they start to make eye contact. He accelerates on that cut just at the perfect time.
Another look at it. Great vision from Matt Reedy, 37, and re-triggers it. Harshbarger tried the fake. Kicked out by Galko, 33 in purple. Check. Keeps the ball on the ground, and that is a shot clock violation against North Carolina.
Yeah, great defense there by Albany. UNC set what's called a razor pick along the goal line extended. They navigated that well and got the shot clock violation.
10 seconds. It's Silas, shot inside and a goal. That is Kevin Carney. Great individual effort with short time. We thought we might see a little bit of the senior out of Ballston, New York on attack. We do. Beautiful roll dodge. Gets his stick topside and solves Kent Good.
Incredible play there. I'm not sure this pass was intended for him. It might have been intended for Silas Richmond, but the defender overextends on him, allows him to kind of duck underneath, beats the slide, sticks the ball up high, stick side. Great individual effort there.
Only 1.6
scored at the same rate. They can't just have Carolina get all those possessions off the faceoff.
Luke Macaluso off the feed from Caden Harshbarger, rings it off the face mask of UAlbany netminder Brady Smith. His 6th save of the game. Matten, along with Leif Hagerup and Ty English, the senior captains this year for the North Carolina. In the clearing game, Macaluso having trouble picking it up. Now he does, flips it off. Suchek is underneath, the pass down low. Brevin Wilson, 101 5-hole. Carolina gets the party started here in the second half, their 13th of the game. Got to be able to go from defense to offense when you get a stop, and that failed clear from the Danes leads to another Tar Heel goal.
Yeah, unfortunate really for UAlbany. Missed exchange there. Comes down in basically a 5-on-3 for Carolina and just a routine finish there at the end. So not the
tall archers. Clark talked about that at halftime. Chris Cloutier, that epic 2016 NCAA tournament that the big man had. Fan of the poutine.
Yeah,
I've never had poutine, have you?
I haven't either. I think it's a Canadian delicacy involving French fries. Yeah.
Cheese curds and gravy on fries.
Oh,
that was a rocket from Dom Petramala. His 8th goal of the game, bar down, and the Tar Heels continue to roll.
Wow. That was impressive. And I said earlier how some of the time, a lot of the time, other guys are creating the offense for him. And unfortunately for Albany, they got a switch with a short stick, and Petramala took advantage of it.
It's a little underneath move, gets his hands free, and he has been on target today. A career high 8 goals. Look at that stroke, look at that shooting motion. Yeah. 8 of 12 shooting.
Whew. Little jab step and step back.
The face-off dot. Pfeiffer has one of the Dane goals working against the short stick D midfield of Cass Friedman.
UNC is playing terrific defense. On ball, off ball, slide decisions.
Feet in front, the twister is in the back of the net. Ryan Doherty gets his name on the score sheet. Great handle, little twister action, is able to solve Kent Good.
Great look here. Little step back as well. Twister shot.
In Philadelphia at UPenn, but he was really considering walking away from the game. And then this group of seniors, when they were freshmen, really kind of inspired him to keep going.
Yeah, it was great to hear him say it. And he was talking about Silas Richmond and kind of his joy and enthusiasm for the game and just the whole recruiting class that came in as freshmen, and even the parents and families that were part of that really kind of, freshened his outlook on coaching and being at Albany and everything else. And it's great to see those guys, now in their third, I believe, straight NCAA tournament and just playing at a high level.
Their past couple of visits into the NCAAs, another goal from Anthony Rayo, ringing off the pipe. You can hear it all the way in our broadcast position. Rayo having himself a day.
Great shot.
And overcome tough times, and Liam Gleason gone but not forgotten.
Yeah, incredible.
Pfeiffer paints the corner. What a shot. Alex Pfeiffer, his second goal of the contest, and that's a beauty.
Great individual effort. We were speaking earlier about how Carolina was not sliding to some of these midfield and short stick matchups, and kid takes the ball down the alley, really nice stutter step, gets his hands back, and makes him pay for not sliding.
15-4, Carolina up on UAlbany from Parker McDonald. Right out of the break. Number 4 in white takes the feed. He's the special wing man on the face-off. Sophomore out of Old Saybrook, Connecticut, gets his 4th tally of the season.
Yeah, just great situational awareness, we call it, right? They run downhill, their rope personnel, their face-off personnel get to the right spots. Albany doesn't cover it, and Hoffman sticks it from in tight.
Only took 14 seconds to go. Played Notre Dame 6-5 at half. And then last year was down to Cornell 5-3 at half, and just wheels fell off the wagon. That one runs off the cross. Don Petramala continuing to let it fly. 8 goals already on the game, clearing. UNC started this game 2 out of 4, so that, UAlbany was able to be disruptive a little bit, but 11 for 11 since that little bit of a rocky start in the clears. And Scott Marr told us that we had to put doubt in UNC's mind early, and they just weren't able to do that.
They really weren't, and again, credit to UNC. All 5 phases, they were clean and sharp, and here we go again.
Petramala, another one off the cut. He ties the all-time record for goals in an NCAA tournament game with his 9th on the afternoon.
Again, timing of the cut, just perfect, steps in. Not a great angle, but he's got such good hands. He puts that ball low and away and ties the all-time record for goals in a playoff game.
Look at the names that Dom...
Guys are left-handed.
Yeah, there you go. That's why you always recruit a lefty attackman, right?
No doubt.
Well, in Gary Gates' case, lefty wherever you want to play.
Yeah. And he was a package deal with another pretty good lefty.
That's right. That's right. Double trouble.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming after I really never see Oliver Marti play. He was a righty.
He was lefty.
He was a lefty.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, they're all lefties.
So I think they're all lefties.
They're all
Come on,
lefties.
man, you're crossing me up, Coach Murphy.
Mackerel. Yeah.
5 lefties. So the trick is, if you want to get into the NCAA record book, play left-handed, right?
Yeah, no doubt. So I have 4 kids. 3 of them play lacrosse. They're all offensive players, and they're all left-handed. And I've been accused multiple times of forcing them to play left-handed, which is not the case.
Brock Geraci takes the feed from Matt Reedy and finds the back of the cage. Geraci, the freshman out of Austin, Texas, his 3rd goal of the season. Transition passing, transition lacrosse at its finest.
Yeah, this is just the Carolina machine. You know, they get a great stop, right? Headman the ball up the field, make a good individual play, one pass, two pass, and a rocket.
Credit Brett Koopman, number 34 in white. He's a hybrid. We've seen him with a long pole in his hand today. We just saw him there with a short stick making a play. Carolina now up 18-4, three-time finalist. Quentin Kilrain, will he play for Johns Hopkins? Injured last weekend in the Big Ten tournament. His absence really hurt them in the Big Ten championship against Penn State. When you're facing a face-off man like Jack Kiskaden and an attack like Goldstein and Firth, you need all hands on deck, and you need to be really buttoned up.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think, you know, knowing Cornell pretty well, you have to defend Firth and Goldstein. You know, they are such a disproportionate, you know, amount of their offense. You know, they get points from a lot of places, long sticks, face-off guys. But if you can slow down that attack unit, then I think that's the key.
Colton Marquis, number 88 in purple, taking his first shot of the game, just off the mark, shot clock violation. 10 seconds left to go. Will Carolina push it? They will. Brock Geraci, feet in front, shot to score. Kaz Friedman, the short stick defensive midfielder, the freshman out of Los Angeles, California, takes the feed, pots it, and Carolina continues to excel. What a look from Brock Geraci.
Yeah, outstanding feed. A little like touch, lob pass, alley-oop to the backside pipe. He's playing really well. You know, changes direction, sees a little opening on the backside and fires it in there. You know, great kid. I recruited him a little bit when he was in high school, so it's nice to see him have some success here.
New goalies for both ball clubs as Hoffman runs right down Franklin Street. Tommy Vine, senior out of Lindenhurst, New York, saving 40% on the season. Don Petramala, there it is, NCAA record, number 10 for number 77. He stands alone not only on the all-time career list here at North Carolina for goals, but now he sits atop the record books for goals in an NCAA tournament game.
Just a textbook catch and release. Any young kids out there watching, he just catches it in rhythm, gets the ball out of his stick, and it's really a race between the shooter and the goalie as to who can get set first. And once again,
Price, shot just goes wide. Reset of the shot clock, 60 seconds with Carolina has to work with.
Carolina's subbing, going to take their time on this possession, I think.
Luke Macaluso now running in the midfield. He really held things down on that first unit when Caden Harshbarger missed the first 4 games of the 26 campaign. And now he was the guy who started today for Owen Duffy. Shot and a goal. Doherty with his second, number 1 in purple. Josh Marcus, the new North Carolina goaltender. 20-5 is our score.
Nice transition play here by Albany. They get the ball down the field, draw a man, make a one more, and Doherty's right there to finish it on that left-hand side. And this is what they've been trying to do all day, and this is really the first time they've had a chance to create some transition.
Tough defense of number 77 in purple, Jacob Smith. Owen Dixon now in the game for North Carolina, over to Brock Geraci. What was your assessment of Kent Good? First career start. Obviously, his offense really kind of took care of business for him early, but how would you grade his performance?
I thought he was very, very good. You know, he had probably 2 or 3, maybe 1 or 2 like really high-end saves where he's kind of robbing UAlbany of goals. And then other than that, he did his job. They played good defense, you know.
Taden Boltman gets underneath the Albany defense, wins the one-on-one matchup, and slams it home. The senior on graduation day gets his name in the record book. Date for the prom. Taden Boltman, great individual effort.
Yeah, really strong move here, you know. Makes a dives down the alley, then comes back to his left hand to the middle of the field there, right? And there's no slide, and he gets right to pay dirt and sticks it. Really nice play.
Scored the last goal. Geraci over to Price, little stutter step, spins back, shot, finds the back of the net. Andrew Price puts up goal number 22 for North Carolina.
Great possession here by the Tar Heels, right? There was some flow to it. You know, they got the ball across to the backside there, and Price with a strong individual effort went to his right hand, then came back to his left hand. Very, very impressive.
Andrew Price has seen duty at the midfield, at the attack. Junior out of Katona, New York.
And that's what.
Short stick D midi, a transfer from Rutgers. 6.5 minutes to go in this one. It's been all North Carolina. 10 goals from Dom Petramala in the absence of Owen Duffy. Carolina. And I guess the question becomes Owen Duffy's health. Is he going to be good enough to go in the quarterfinals against either Syracuse or Yale?
Yeah, that'll be a big factor in next week.
Nico Carezzo's right-handed rocket right over the shoulder. UNC's 50th shot of the game yields their 23rd tally. Here we get a look at Owen Duffy, all smiles, knowing that his boys took care of business in his absence.
Carezzo's great play. Left-handed kid, sweeps to his left hand. Played good defense against him, comes back to his right hand, gets downhill, right, sticks the shot. Great kid, great family.
Carezzo's keeps the party going. Hofstra bound can wash it all down with Richmond Duke from Robins Stadium in Richmond, Virginia. Taden Boltman, feed inside, goes awry. Geraci picks it up, feed inside. Oh, Dixon behind the back and scores! Wow. Nifty goal from Owen Dixon. Feed comes from Brock Geraci. And North Carolina has put up 2 dozen.
That's just a great lacrosse play, to be honest with you. Geraci's been playing great. His head is always up, right? Gets an opening, and great finish. You know, people talk about behind the back shots. In my opinion, there's a time and place for it, and that was exactly it.
Dixon, his 5th goal of the season. There you see the reaction of Joe Bresci. Owen's older brother, Matt, played at Loyola University, graduate assistant for the Patriot League coaching staff of the year for Charlie Toomey, the turnaround from 3-11 to 9-5. So a proud moment for the Dixon family. And a timeout looks to be taken on the field as North Carolina has now scored the 2nd most goals in an NCAA game in tournament history. The most is 28 in 1991 when they defeated Syracuse, defeated Michigan State 28-7. Let's take a look at the lower bracket. North Carolina will advance to play the winner of Syracuse-Yale. Cornell Johns Hopkins tangle at 5 o'clock. Notre Dame and Jacksonville, high noon from Arlotta Stadium tomorrow. And then we take a look at the upper bracket. Princeton and Marist from class of 1952 Stadium. I call it Tiger Woods. Coming up next, Penn State and Army set to tangle in a replay of a 2023 quarterfinal game won by the Nittany Lions. Virginia, Georgetown, the Millen brothers against the Connor brothers. Sunday, and then Richmond and Duke tonight in the nightcap. Let's take a look at these notes. Princeton, #1 seed, Murph, looking for their first title since '01. Richmond hosting for the first time in program history. Jacksonville, led by former Syracuse All-American John Galloway, making their first NCAA appearance in Maryland, missing a tournament for the first time since '02. Which of these really kind of stand out to you?
I think Maryland missing it stands out, and that's a credit to Coach Tillman and what they've done over the last 15 years there. And I think the whole graphic shows you where our game is. You know, it's evolving. It's much more competitive than it was even 5 or 10 years ago.
Scott Marr, Joe Bresci battled each other during their playing days at Johns Hopkins and North Carolina, respectively. Now tangling once again in the NCAA tournament. Scott Marr, one of the greatest guys in the sport of lacrosse. It was just so much fun to talk to him this week. He gets you believing, man. I mean, the Dane train.
No doubt. Just a great human being, great ambassador of our sport, great representative of the University of Albany. And you know, this doesn't diminish what they accomplished this year. Certainly not the way they wanted it to end, but they have a lot to be proud of, especially all that they went through.
Who can forget that run to the Final Four in 2018? Connor Fields leading the way. T.D. Erlin, face-off extraordinaire. And, you know, I know you were. I was hesitant to ask Scott Marr about T.D. Erlin because he's facing an Erlin-type guy in Wambach, but he brought it right up. He goes, look, I had a dominant face-off man for 2 years, and I'm rotating the ball. Will Hardy, 21 in purple. His father, Thomas, his brothers, Tom and Dan, all played at Syracuse.
Yeah. Great.
They were I remember Dan Hardy. That guy was a handful.
Yep.
Nice save by Goose Wilson. Brayson Wilson. Needless to say, the North Carolina goalie room's pretty stout. Whew.
Yeah, he's talented. Really talented. That's their #3, and impressive.
Shot and a goal. UAlbany will not go away. They will fight to the final whistle. Beautiful shot. And that is McComber, the lefty, sticking it, making it 24-6.
Really.
Luke Grove carries it in, and that should wrap it up. An impressive first-round victory for the North Carolina Tar Heels, which honestly, Albany's such a dangerous team, and the history between them, we didn't know which way this was going to break, but it broke early for the Tar Heels.
No doubt. We talked earlier in the week about how the start of this was going to be really important, and sure enough, it played out that way. Carolina came out of the gates flying. And